Yep. Hello there, everyone. Thank you for coming to our new show, which is our old show, Life Between Lives, but yet we're renaming it now. It's The Dance of the Soul. So that, because our soul goes through many lifetimes with many triggers, many things that happen, many things that are going forward. And with that, so Regan and I wanted to continue with this new name because we really feel like we want to be helpful for everyone who is going through something. And with Regan doing Newton Institute type work, so you can maybe explain a little bit more who Newton was. And we're just going to give little snippets just because, people who've watched us before know the story, but then the people new don't. And then at the same time, I want to kind of let people know that um, as we go through this, that if you have any questions, if you're watching live, please come forth because this is part of the journey. So I'm Natasha Venter. Regan is Regan Forston, and I am a medium, intuitive personal awareness life coach. So I am one that have been working through much of our lives, much life, and I go to past lives quickly. So that's why Regan and I work really well together, because he does it through the Newton Institute, doing through hypnosis, and I do it through my own mediumship, knowing my own story, knowing how to navigate. And I just got a quick little version there. It's like on the quick free way to get to somewhere. So we just kind of do this work. And so we know some of the stories why people have anxiety, people have emotions, because sometimes things are triggered from past lives. Now, sometimes troubles in relationships are triggered from past lives that affect us now. So with that we want to really give some help. And today, Regan and I were talking about how there's so much anxiety and depression out there right now. And, that's one thing that we're really being triggered by this new Nova, with the COVID thing and coming out. And even my girlfriend, because I'm down here in California right now visiting a girlfriend, and Regan's actually in California. So we're actually in the same state for a change instead of me being in Washington State and him being in California. But we're still probably, I'm down in like San Diego County. So you're about an hour and a half, 2 hours north.
Yeah, I am. Can you see me now, or am I blank?
No, you're good.
Okay, because I just had a client who's a psychic in Sacramento, and she just emailed me, said she wanted to be on the show because I told her about it too. And so I forgot to send her the link. So while we're talking here, I'm going to send her that. And so we might have somebody, and it's funny. This is like doctors see other doctors. And I was just wondering, like, Natasha, have you ever consulted another medium? In other words, is it kind of hard to see yourself, or can you just figure out everything on your own, or does it help to have another psychic or medium to kind of read you?
What it is that we all need support. And for my style of Bev, Bev goes, hello. So Bev's watching. Thank you, Bev, for chiming in. Because that's one thing that this show is about, a conversation. We love having conversations. And Jessica, I'll let you in just a minute. Okay, sweetie? I wanted to go and give a little bit here. She's popped in, but I'm not going to put her on the screen right this minute. That, doing work with other intuitives, I'm one that I support a lot of intuitives because so many people, we're still human, that we navigate through our own still stories and history. And I'm one that I can read other intuitives quickly and sort of support them through it because, I just go places quickly. And it's nice to actually doing sessions with someone who can keep up with me. Other intuitives can keep up with me because I give so much information sometimes. And if you don't, I slow down. So with that there's so many into waking up our intuitive gifts, and so I like to support people coming forward and doing that. And so with that as we go forth, and Jessica is here, Regan, she just is not on the screen quite yet.
Okay, well that's actually Jessica, who that's the newbie that I talked about. Good, she's got a very beautiful energy.
Oh, good. Well, most of us do. So I'm just saying, there is some spiritual people who aren't very spiritual, but 98% of us are. So, so with that, so I'm going to bring Jessica in real quick.
Okay. And if you're seeing me, I'm not. Oh, here we go. There we go. Hey, there she is. Hi, Jessica.
Hi. Hi. This is so
Oops,
exciting.
I'm trying a new system here.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. That's the one I wanted. I hate being squished. It's like
This is great.
claustrophobic. So
Yes, we're all the same size box. Yeah.
This was so last minute. I just asked her about 20 minutes ago. We just got off the phone.
Yeah.
She had seen my van. I have a sign on my van about what I do, and she had called, and we kept missing connections. And today she was just thinking about calling me, of course, at the moment that I called her. So she probably, Jessica was probably sending me the vibe to call her rather than my
yeah. And that's the thing is that many of us who are intuitive, we can send those. I used to do the same thing with my mom. You know, mom, come home. Mom, come home. And finally, she would kind of get that push to come home. You know, so it's one of those things.
Yeah, I thought Jessica would be good. Now, Jessica, you're just starting your career, right? As
Right.
psychic. And,
Yeah.
Natasha's been doing this for a long time, and I thought Natasha is such a great coach. They would be cool, and people watching, you know, because people wonder, okay, wait a minute, you mean someone's just starting? Don't you do this from birth, and you just know all this stuff, and you just are that way your whole life? And other people, they come into the realization later in their life that they have this connection to the other side, and then they decide that they want to be a light worker, and so they, in other words, start getting the occupation in a way of helping people to see, you know, a bigger picture of themselves.
Exactly.
Know? So maybe I'll let Natasha kind of, knowing that Jessica's, you know, maybe you could share some of your experience of how it started with you, Natasha, and how you became to do it full time.
Well, what it is that many of us intuitives, I know that we're intuitive pretty much our whole lives. You know, I know that, Jessica, you probably felt things a lot on the way, but many of us, we get so overrun, or we get family that doesn't believe in us. And so we get so overrun with energy that we just kind of shut ourselves down, you know, and then especially during our teenagehoods, because I know I struggled during our teenagehoods. For me, I remember being born, I remember more through my birth, before birth to 3 years old than I do most of my life.
Wow.
Because of the fact that my soul was so awake. And my family said, you know, we all are intuitive in my family, but Natasha, you were kind of odd.
Wow.
You were kind of, you know, so with that then it took my mom and my dad and my whole family basically passing away before the universe pushed me out of the wall and out of the door and say, okay, you've done this your whole life. You've been shy and quiet. Now it's time for you to become this person who you see today. People can't believe that I used to not speak to anybody, you know, because I'm doing it now. And so that's that part of coming out. And I know, Jessica, you had to believe, you know, and this is not to downplay this role that most of our people who are transgender, gay, any lesbian, whatever the word you want to put on it, when they finally come out, you know, that's the way that we feel, being our intuitive selves coming out, that we have to be so vulnerable that it's like, okay, no matter what somebody says. I mean, for me to come out to my school where I work in elementary school was like, you know, crossing, you know, the do not enter sign.
Governmental agency, yeah.
Exactly. So just great job for trusting yourself, because that's the difference between being sensitive, getting intuitive feelings, and doing the intuitive work. You know, your trust factor probably went, you know, so that's the dance. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jessica.
Yeah, so I also grew up in a very spiritual, open family, and was always very aware of and so fascinated with all of it. But then, like you said, during my teenage years, I went into full-on denial, and I was like, Mom, can you hide your crystals when my friends come over? You know, like, can you not have our chakra, our aura pictures up? And I went through a long phase of complete denial. Like, I will be normal. Actually, this is funny. I used to visit my sister in Normal, Illinois every summer, and we'd go to the movies and drink Coke and like do completely normal And I was like, yes, this is who I am. I'm going to go to normal and I'll be normal.
Oh, but the universe head doesn't give you that choice, do they?
No. So I went to school to become a neuropsychologist because I was so fascinated and I wanted to help people and I wanted to understand people on this deeper level. So I thought, okay, this is the path that people will approve of.
Mm-hmm.
And it still wasn't right. So finally I gave in and I was like, okay, I'll just go full in. And I started I started a certification program in Sausalito at the Academy of Intuition Medicine. So that's what I just completed.
Congratulations.
And I went crystal shopping with my mom last week and I'm all in.
Well, now that the crystals are talking to you, you have no choice.
Yeah.
If someone walked around my house, it would be like, oh, do you have a slight addiction?
Okay. Well, it is an addiction. I can see. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question about crystals now because I know, like for me, for many years, and psychics, and they got these crystals and stones and things, and it just seemed so far out there. Part of my mind was going, well, what, it just made it seem kind of, like the fortune teller with the crystal ball.
I have one.
Yeah, right. But that's got such a, because of Hollywood and everything, it's got such a, I don't know what you call it, but anyway, explain to me how crystals help you, or are they helping you, or are they helping your client? How do they help you in your work that you do?
Well, I can speak for me that crystals for me are my home. That I've spent so many different past lives on star planets where crystals were our energy field, or and on this earth. And so one thing that crystals are they're the oldest timekeepers.
Oldest timekeeper?
Oldest timekeepers. They're one of the oldest things that have been on this planet, because they were made when the planet was made. So, and some of them along the way, but they're the oldest timekeepers. So many of us who are intuitive can pick up a rock and get somewhere. So some of us, like I have crystals that it shoots me off into another dimension. I pick up rocks that just help me meditate. I have a snowflake obsidian that I sleep with, and it just nicely cradles in my belly area. That it helps. And obsidian, each stone kind of has their thing they do. But but sometimes somebody will say, "Oh, citrine, it's great for clearing energy, and it's a prosperity stone." Somebody else, it'll be their connection to the fairyland, or the fairyland. So it's one of those things that each stone has their own story with the person that they're with. But yet at the same time, like this obsidian is supposed to help draw negative energies away. And so with that obsidian, the snowflake is it slowly takes away. So if I've taken on something during the day in my chakras or something, it'll help pull that out. And I'm working with some digestive things that I want to help shift my body that way. So that's one way that stones are. It depends on the stone. Crystalline energy, the crystals, they're great for just supporting other crystals. It just depends what it is, where it's supposed to go, where it's going to navigate. And Sue Snyder, we have some certain people who watch that. And I wanted to say, Jermaine, or Gemma, welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry if I interrupt you here, Jessica. We've been doing this we've been doing the show for a while, but this is my second time running the show. So,
okay.
So I'm still practicing. And so Sue says, I love crystals, but I don't hear them communicate. But once I held a piece of hematite and felt the spark in my hand, what was going on?
Oh, great. Okay. Who can answer that?
Do you want to go for it, Jessica, or do you would like me to?
I can say that I don't hear crystals either, but when I hold them or I'm around them, I mean, my hands always get really hot when I'm picking up on energy. So you are probably picking up on the specific energy of that crystal or that stone. So you might want to meditate on it and see what that might have meant to you. And it might have a message, or it might just be your energy system reacting in a positive way to that, and maybe saying, get more of this in your life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, I know that hematite is a metal. And so sometimes we have energy chakras in our hands, and that spark is opening up one of the chakras that we have in our hands. And so, and a lot of times stones will talk with us through different ways. That's the thing about intuitives. People think that, oh, I'm supposed to hear it the way you are. I'm supposed to do it exactly the way you are. Nah.
No, there's at least 21 senses. There's at least 21, probably more.
And more, and
Wow.
more, because it's how we interact with those 21 senses or whatever senses there is. I've kind of gotten done with numbers. You know, it's like, it's just another dimension. It's not the fifth dimension, the sixth, it's just another dimension. I'm, you know, because things are changing so fast. So with that, sometimes crystals will, I do muscle testing to make sure that that crystal is mine, because sometimes I'll pick up a crystal that says that it wants to come home with me, but then that's my feeling with it. But I pick it up and it just wanted to do some work with me, and it didn't want to come home with me. So I always ask the question, do you want to come home with me, or should I buy you? Because sometimes I don't have the money to buy a crystal, but it's kind of an addiction.
How do you, okay, here's a question. How do you, I'm guessing like anything, there's different grades of crystal and everything. How do you know, I mean, how does someone discern if you're going to buy a crystal, if that's the one that's got the most bang for your buck, in a sense, you know?
Okay, and that's the difference between a gem. I'm a dyslexic, so sometimes words don't come out of my mouth. So the ones that study stones and an intuitive. Because for me, like, I have someone who sells stones, oh, look at this and look at that. And I'm like going, yeah, but it was dead to me. It was dead to me. But yet I would pick up the most ugliest stone and it would go, oh, how are you? And Kathy here, Kathy, she sells stones. And so she has an amazing awareness of stones. So I'll get with you, Kathy, in a minute. So with that, sometimes stones speak to us by how they feel in our hands. Sometimes a stone will make our hands sweaty when it's ours, and sometimes it'll be cool when it's ours, and sometimes it will be hot when it's ours, and sometimes it just depends on us. And we have to kind of really check in to see, how did I feel with this stone?
The muscle testing is a great idea. I do that with vitamins too. And I think crystals are sort of like the medicine cabinet of an intuitive. Like they each type of crystal can support your intuition and your ability to help others in very different ways. So I think it's sort of like your medicine cabinet, and you can, you know, look at it like a vitamin supporting your whole system, but your energy system. But
exactly.
Yeah. See, no, people watching the show, they probably have heard muscle testing before, because it's this kind of show. But if anybody watching this or something in the future, I'll just have to give my own experience. Way back in the 70s, you know, when I heard about muscle testing, I thought, that's kind of silly, you know. But then I went to a practitioner and I became a believer, like in about 2 minutes, you know. I mean, she could touch, like, I remember somehow or another, she came up, it's like she had me doing a strength thing, and then she just would like touch me in one little part, and I had no strength at all. I mean, it was just, I went, oh my God, this is really something, you know.
You can say, you can stand up straight and say, my name is, and say your name, and you can feel a tug forward. And then you can stand up straight again and say, my name is, and say something that's not your name, and you should feel like a slight tug backwards. So if anybody that's a really simple introduction to it, if anybody wants to do that.
Well, I'm sure on YouTube, there's probably lots of videos and things.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
it's a real thing.
Sorry. No, I gotta. So, but I would suggest first, ask the question, what is my yes? What is my no?
Yeah, you set it up.
Because of the fact that there's sometimes where my yes is usually forward, but there's those times where it's backwards. So, or it's opposite. But muscle testing, what I do is as I put my fingers together, and then I put my other fingers in, and I try to pull them apart. And I do this with food. I do this with 98% of my life. I do this, but you just try to pull it apart. So what is my yes? What is my no? And so you just kind of, you're trying to pull these apart. I do the stand-up one too.
It's like our bodies know what it needs. It's just a matter of how do you talk to your body, and that's one way you talk to your body.
Yeah, sometimes I know that I'm hungry for a hamburger and I'll ask, do you want a hamburger tonight? No. See, it doesn't want a hamburger. I had one at lunch.
No,
Do
but
you
I'm
want
going
fish?
to eat it
Do you want
anyway.
fish? Yes, it wants fish. So that's the thing, is I may want a hamburger, but my body's asking for fish. And so the hamburger wouldn't digest very well. I'd probably feel heavy. I'd probably
Yeah.
feel, all that kind of thing. So, but I want to get to what Kathy and Sue said here just for a second here. So Kathy, who sells the stones, so everything on the planet has an energy frequency. Yes, crystals and minerals have their own frequency and vibe frequencies of their color. As much as anything, it is interaction between one's personal energy frequency and the stones. Very well said, Kathy. Thank you very much.
Is Kathy the one that sells the stones?
Yes, she does. She knows. She. I had one that I thought it was azurite, and she goes, "Oh no, that's turquoise. It's not." And there's a little bit of azurite in there.
Yeah, Kathy, on my website here, Visit the Afterlife, contact me on there too. And I'd like to get a hold of you because I'm thinking I might add a few stones. Because I know a lot of Life Between Life therapists who have done a little stone work just to help their client. They'll have them hold a certain crystal or something just to add, to make it, to add to to their experience, to help maybe make it a little bit easier.
Well, I have certain stones in my spiritual room placed to help with balance the energy if I have somebody sitting there, and they kind of do the work that they're needing to do. So here is Sue again. So it happened years before I woke up, but I always loved rocks and stones. Thanks. Yeah. So Sue I've known Sue for over, 10, 15 years now, and she's gone on a very spiritual awakening. So those kinds of sparks, sometimes stones come into our lives that push us into this new journey that we're going to go on. Probably because, we all kind of either have the spiritual awakening and stones come in, or stones are our spiritual awakening and stones come into our life and then we spiritually awaken. So it's one of those dances that we go through.
Okay, here's another question then, because me being the not knowing a lot about this, but I'm always open to new stuff. When either of you are doing a session and you have the crystals there, is that for you or for your client? In other words, do you hold it in your hand? Do you just have it in your space? Or in other words, to use the power of it to help you to be more intuitive and everything, what's the process that you do with the stone?
Go ahead, Jessica.
Okay, I am actually pretty new to the stones and the crystals, but I have some that I picked for my personal growth. And in my growth, I'm supporting others. So as I can only help others as much as I can grow and evolve.
Right.
So I picked them to be near me and to focus on aspects of my being and my system that need a little bit of a boost so that I can be the best version of myself for my clients. And then I will probably have things like obsidian in the room for both of us, because healing in my sessions requires a lot of deep grounding. And crystals or stones like obsidian can really help with that deep grounding, which is so cool that you sleep with obsidian. I need to do that. Grounding is like a sleeping pill, like earth energy.
Yes. And I don't ground well. I'm going to own it, claim it, be with it. All 90% of my team is air. I use hawk. I use, I'm from the star beings, as well as 90% of us are, but it's easy for me to shoot out. I've done sessions where I've been at a fair and other intuitives come over and go, did you realize how far you were out there? And I'm like going, yeah, actually, I'm fine with that. Thank you. Because I come back.
Come to think about it from the sensory viewpoint, people realize that crystals are used in so much electronic equipment for transmission of energy. So what's to say that when you have the crystal, you're being like that machine that's sending out energy, that maybe intuitively your clients are getting more, maybe they can't physically see it, but intuitively they're getting more energy from you because you're transmitting, it's helping you transmit your thoughts and everything, and the love and everything you have, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just depends. Like there was one night I was doing a mediumship group with 10 women, and I knew that I was going to be getting a lot of mediumship in that night, and there was 7 that ended up having lost their children in
Wow.
that session. And so for me, I knew that, and I ended up walking upstairs and getting a clear crystal because I knew that it would help me align, because clear crystals help you align. It helped me to center myself instead of getting so pulled away from all the different messages I was getting. It helped me focus in. I was fine doing it, but I knew that I needed to stay my own energy and not be involved with all the politics going on, because grief was heavy in the room. So I wanted to make sure that I could give a clear message, clear crystal, clear message for the people that were there. So, we use those crystals. I have crystals everywhere. When I'm doing a show, when I'm doing an intuitive fair, I have crystals like I have a calcite, an orange calcite. And if I bring it, it brings people to me. There's something about its energy. Calcite is a multitude of things. It's a stone that likes to do many different things, but this one stone said that that's what it would do for me. And so that's why I bring it. Now, I have other stones that I sit on top of my cards if I use them, because it helps clear the cards after each reading. So it depends on what stones are which. Kathy, here's her. So she's done stones for 28 years. So she's very, but Kathy,
Great,
if you
Kathy,
can,
thanks.
yeah. So I will, if you can put up your, and then raising hand. So with that if you can give us your website, Kathy, I would very greatly appreciate that. And I'll put it up for you. And then Regan, maybe if you wanted to write,
Yeah, I'll write it down.
the show's on YouTube and Facebook. So, so with that.
I just knocked my speaker off. Hang on.
You're good, sweetie. All right. Gotta get that word out of my. So with that we're all going through this awakening. And I know for me that my crystals, like I have the little hand crystals, and I happen to find a bra, to speak boldly here, that I can put them in, and it sits right here in my chest area. And it's nice because, me working in the elementary school, that there's going to be energies that I need to be supported with. The thing that I know that I can do also, though, is if I forget the stone at home, I can ask its energy to come with me, and it comes with me. So I don't necessarily always need the stone, but for me, sometimes that physicality, like if I have a stone in my pocket, me rolling it in my hand when I'm nervous sometimes will help me have the physical interaction to help my body go through it with the stone, but then my mind is more at ease because there's that process going on.
Yeah, also for people listening too, there's a great book I think I talked about before on the show. I wish I could remember the name of it. If you go to Gemisphere, it's gemisphere.com. It's the name of a company. And he has a book on there. Gosh, it's about that thick. And he's had masters from the other side that were in charge of each mineral, each stone, give a discourse on what it's used for and what it's for. And yeah, Gemisphere, it's beautiful. Actually, I just took one off. I had one onyx. It's just black onyx all the time, and it's to help me multitask. When you're busy and everything like that. And the story behind it is, I think since we're talking about stones, this is a perfect time for. I'll give the short version. But Michael Katz and his wife went to sleep one night, and they woke up in a dream together. When they woke up, they go, "I just had you in my dream." She goes, "Yeah, I just had you in my dream." And they had some masters from the other side to tell them that they wanted to get out to the world this information about what God, what's purpose for all these beautiful stones and rocks are. And so he told them that every few weeks at a certain time, they would go into meditation, and they would actually both leave their body. There would be a guide from, let's say, for sapphire, and he would be the guardian of the sapphire, and he would give this whole discourse about sapphire. And then Michael would come and write it down, and he ended up publishing the book, and it's just amazing. He then started Gemisphere, this company, and they have the highest quality stones that you can find anywhere in the world. And they were told how to mill them, how to put them together so they would have the most energy and everything. And he's created this whole huge company. And just a great story, you know, for people that believe in this sort of thing like we do, you know, because we had experience that way. So it's called Gemisphere, and I think it's .com. It might be .org, but probably gemisphere.com. Or if you just put Gemisphere, it's in Portland, Oregon, it'll come up. So that would be a good way to get that book for people that are interested.
Yeah, and you can feel usually when a stone is mishandled, I'm going to call it. Mishandled by energy, mishandled by application, mishandled by, you know, if somebody has really negative energy and it is stuck in a hoarder's home, you know, that stone's not going to be as clear as somebody who's had it on their altar and it's been charged doing its work. So with that a stone, for me, a stone that I pick up out of my yard is just as magical as a stone that I spend $800 on. You know,
Yeah.
it's just an application, and each one has its own wisdom. There's sometimes though you can pick up a rock and it's dead because it's had its life, and you won't get anything from it. And then there's other stones, even my crushed rock that I pick up off the playground, they ask me, can you move me so I don't keep getting kicked, you know, because we're the two-legger movers for they don't have any legs, so they can't move, you know. Rocks are just amazing beings. So
Well,
Kathy said something,
yeah.
and Regan, if you don't mind reading this, because my dyslexia is having troubles today, so I appreciate it.
Kathy says, creating an energy within one's working space is a start. There are specific crystals to assist in emotional, mental, physical clarity, grounding within the space. Items available for someone to hold or for practitioner to hold also appropriate. As a Reiki master teacher, I also combine Reiki and sometimes sound. Yes, watches / crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So,
yeah, because watches have crystals in them that help, help.
yeah.
So what we have to do is we have to raise our awareness, our mindfulness that God, the greater being or whatever that created all this, that every little even piece of gravel has something to do with the energy of the earth and is considered to be like important. You know, just like an ant's just as valuable as a spider, as a bird, as a human being, probably, in the big scheme of things. You know, we all make up the whole, you know.
Well, just like walking, I'm going to be able to probably go to the beach tonight. That walking in the sand, you can get a lot of information by the granules of the sand, you know, because they've been in the ocean. Can you imagine just tapping into what the sand has to say about the ocean story? You know, but there again is not everybody is meant to be this intuitive or this communicative or this, you know, it's just not everybody's story. Some people are supposed to be 3D, where a rock is a rock. You know, why do you spending money on a rock? You know, it's just a rock. You know, not everybody's supposed to. Just like the other day I went to Ross and I got an alligator. And it was speaking to me. I mean, it was just this plastic thing. My friend picked it up and said, not talking to me, you know, and she's intuitive. But for me, it was like my new guide, you know, because I needed to get a tougher skin about life. I needed to be able to sit in the immerse. I'm a double Cancerian, and most of my planets in my astrology is water. So I need to learn to be able to sit calmly in water, you know, and hold my breath and just be able to see where I need to go in the midst of the muckiness. You know, it was an amazing gift to have this new guide come in as an alligator. People don't really think about that, but, you know, there's the story about how intuitive work can help, but yet it actually becomes more work in a way because you get more tools.
Well,
But, you know,
the work that you guys do and the work that I do, I'm beginning more and more to see that if you figure an average person's consciousness, who's walking around having a life and everything like that, is only aware of maybe 1% or something of what's actually going on out there, you know, about what actually the possibilities are. And I know the more, probably with the two of you now, and Jessica, now that you've been doing this, and you're getting going, don't you find that your awareness of everything is just expanding like exponentially? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it sort of expands and collapses at the same time. Like everything that you think was the real stuff kind of collapses and falls away,
yeah,
and everything else is more lit up and coming at you. So it's really cool.
yeah. And now, you know, some people watching this, I just know from the different clients I've had, like some people watching a show like what we're doing right now. I mean, they're drinking beer and laughing their butts off because they're going, this is total crazy, silly. These guys are wackos kind of thing. And then there's some other people that are there writing down all this stuff. You know, it's like, you know, that are more
And some
aware.
of the people drinking beer and laughing in 5 years will be the weirdos watching.
Right.
I was the
Right.
one drinking beer and laughing when I was 20. So
Yeah.
Well,
So
and
all
actually, a
happening-
lot of people drink because they're hearing
yeah.
so much and they don't know where to put
Yeah.
it.
I
And
know,
they're
I
on
have a lot
drugs
of
because
friends like that.
they got to quiet their minds. If everybody
Oh, yeah.
knew what my brain was
Yeah.
hearing or my intuitiveness was hearing,
Yeah.
they would probably go nuts. You know, it's like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
husband says, don't you ever stop? And I'm like going, no, no.
Yeah, no, I have a lot of friends like that who I know they're feeling and sensing so much that they just numb themselves. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Which is a sad, because for me, you know, that's why I'm here is that I have no judgments about life, you know, and we all have, if I haven't done it in this lifetime, I've done it in another lifetime. So
Yeah.
why should I judge? So with that I love to support people to know that they're not going crazy, you know, and there's so many people out there. And like I just did a short little video on about how our youngers and are going through this energy field where they just get overwhelmed. And so I did a little version of how to put the bubble of love around us. You know, people think that they have to have protection. No, just put a bubble of love around you, because by the time that you have that bubble around, everything that's coming to you, the ickiness, it's not so icky anymore. And so with that, that's one of the greatest things about doing this work, is everybody feels like that there's these jobs and tools, and if I can help you, Jessica, in any way to say, because you know, when we're new doing intuitive work, we think there's all these protocols and everything. Yeah, those tools are good. Gaining those tools are very well used. It's kind of like a mechanic learning how to work on cars. You have to know the basics to be able to jump forward, and I can support you through that movement of what is sticky and what is not sticky. You know, it's just part of the dance of life. So Kathy here said that her website is not up, but she also said this. Regan, please.
Oh yeah, okay. It says if it rock/crystal/mineral calls your attention to it, regardless of type, it has something for you. Sand is awesome for grounding. Backside of the sand, toes in water. Rush of energetic input for those who feel it, or a calming effect beyond belief for those whose resonance can use those energies. Yeah, it's like there's, you know, when you think about it, when we walk in the sand, and then you walk down, it gets a little muddier and muddier, and then pretty soon the ocean's coming up over your feet. Everybody likes, there's nobody who doesn't like to walk along the ocean and experience that. And I guess intuitively they're getting healing, or they're getting something, you know, that's there. I mean, people, when I ask my clients if money was no object, would they like to have, you know, for a safe haven for themselves, would they have their own island, or would they have a mountain meadow, or you know, something like that? About 80% always pick something by the water, you know, with sand and ocean. Just seems to be intuitive that way. Although I did have one man that said, he says, my place that I want to be is in a 57 Chevy with the roof off, convertible, in the middle of the Arizona desert, you know, at sunset. You know, I mean, that's where he felt, the one time in his life where he felt like, wow, this is it. I'm in this beautiful place, you know, and it had to do with the freedom, you know, that he felt, you know. But most people, it's ocean for one reason or another.
Well, that's where I like to think about doing like astrology, numerology, you know, just all these different ologies, because of the fact that each one has a resonance to what's going on. Like this person, he probably had more fire and air in his astrology than water, and so he wasn't pulled to the water. And we all have these things that make us up who we are. It's amazing. It's amazing that we actually kind of come to a collection of who we are.
Yeah. And isn't what Jessica and Natasha, what you do and what I do in a different way, but for the same.
You're getting more like us every day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, matter of fact, I spent hours in a dream, and I had to get up and get busy, and darn, I'm losing some of it now. But it was all about that we all have this ability in any situation that's sent to us. Like we're sent a difficult time, and I saw it as like a little capsule, and it was a little difficult time. And we have the ability to change it however we want. We can accept that difficulty and oh, I got to go through this or something, or we have the ability to change that into something not so bad. Mm-hmm. And so I spent all this time when they were sending me this and it was going to be bad. And then I had to figure out a way of how to change that capsule from something bad to something manageable or okay. So that was kind of an interesting dream. So it was like I'm being taught by somebody in the dream.
So you were actively doing work while you're.
Yeah, and it made me feel good because I was kind of aware, and then I go, "Oh, this is cool." I'm Natasha. I'm doing some Natasha work here.
There's a teacher there with you.
Yes, and that's the thing is that many times that we get worked on or interacted with when we are sleeping, because our mental mind is out of the way, because our mental mind is the one that says, I can't do that, I'm not doing that, and I would say that all of us have a part of us that knows what to do. It's us stepping out of the way to do it. And I'll give you an example. I was teaching some kids. Yes, I'm very dyslexic, didn't read till after high school. I'm math dyslexic too, so I really struggled with. That's why the universe put me back in elementary school to learn the basics. So with that I was teaching kids in my resource room who are kids who struggle. Fractions are not my friend. My kid who loves fractions says, Mom, fractions are your friends. Nope. I had to teach fractions anyways. Plus at the same time, there was a kid who had and I'm going to call him a demon attached to him. Mm-hmm. And then the other kids were all ADHD, and there was 5 of them in front of me. So I gave my angel the task of dealing with the demon, because we were at just a small table here, and I was dealing with the ADHD kids while the part of me that knew what to do taught the fraction. At the end of it, I came up with the right answer. The demon stayed where he was, and the kids learned something. Mm-hmm. Because I trusted that part of me that knew what to do. I stepped out of the way and said, you got it. And even if I would have came up with the wrong answer, I would have went, oh, wait a minute. That's the step I missed. Did you see that there was a step because I'm all about making the mistakes to teach kids that you make mistakes and you just move forward. Mm-hmm. So with that when we're working through life, there's going to be a part of us that knows what to do, because I'm going to tell you that each of us has a guide that can help us with that. Or there's a part of us, and I'm telling you, past lives right now are like they're in our ear. They're right here navigating with us. And if we haven't done it in this lifetime, we've done it in another lifetime, even if it was a negative lifetime, but there was a tool that we learned in that lifetime to bring forward to help us out today.
Yeah. And I was wondering now too, like I started to ask you earlier, with both of you having these abilities that you have, do you solve all of your problems yourself, or does it help you to get a reading from another psychic or another medium to help you? Because I know with me, it seems like I go to therapists, occasionally myself just to help me with issues. Even though I know the issues, it just seems to work better if I have somebody that's on the outside kind of helping me. So do other mediums? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do a lot of my daily work, the clearing and setting protections and everything like that, just grounding. But I have weekly sessions with my classmates where we do sessions on each other, and it's immensely helpful.
Yeah.
And I will continue to do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would it, we can continue with the stone and everything, talk and that too. But since I was thinking, since you're kind of getting started out now and you're opening up this whole new energy, Jessica,
Mhm.
of amazing stuff. Would Natasha, would it help for you to give her like just a mini reading or something that's not too personal, since this is,
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is, and Jessica, this is the thing that I hold high in my integrity is that I do not read anybody until they give me permission.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I always ask, so how was your day? Because I may get a kind of a shadow effect of what their day
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
but I'm
You're
not
not digging in there. Yeah.
I'm not digging into nothing until somebody gives me permission. So I'll ask the everyday questions, and people will look at me like, "Aren't you psychic?" And I
Don't you
go,
know?
"Yes."
Yeah.
Until it's turned on, not
Yeah.
really, because
Plus, you don't
I'm
want all the information flying at you all the time. No.
no, that's called the personal boundary thing. It's like
Yes.
my time is
Yeah.
my time.
Mhm.
So with that, but and I'm going to go to Regan, even with me, like for me right now that there's a part of me that has just basically, I've had so many lifetimes that I've been in a cave that with what happened to me in the last couple of weeks has basically brought out all my past lives in this life where I've been overlooked and shadowed over, but there is still a thread. It's almost like that 100-pound test that people go fishing the marlins with, that is still holding on, and that's where I'm my friend is helping me through some of this, because some of it's my language, but working through things like that. You can't do life alone. That's
Nope.
called a community. We need our communities. Now, somebody who doesn't believe in intuitiveness goes to someone like Regan. If they don't believe in Regan, then go to a psychologist or a
Mhm.
counselor. Do something, because right now we're all on this dance of anxieties, and if you've driven on the freeway lately, I can tell you your anxiety isn't just your anxiety.
Oh boy, yeah.
It's everybody
Mhm.
else's anxiety, and we're
Mhm.
all navigating through this dance of how to manage it, and if you don't have the tools to protect yourself, that's what saddens me so much about some of this, because I do a lot of mediumship with people who have lost their children, and because of the grief process and my understanding with grief, that I hold them, and it just saddens me because they tell me, God, if I would have known some of the tools that you knew, I wouldn't have made that decision. I don't tell their parents that, but there's that dance that if they would have just known how to protect themselves from some of this extra vibration. But some of them were star people that couldn't handle the vibration of this planet, period, so they chose to leave. But we all have these moments where things are happening, and it is checking in, and so talking about it, Regan, that we all need help. We
Yeah.
all need help at certain
Right.
times, because even me going to the chiropractor, I was telling him what he was muscle testing,
Mhm.
but it was nice for that confirmation.
Yeah. It's always
Mhm.
good to get confirmation still, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Totally.
Jessica, are you open to
Yeah.
her giving you
Oh,
a mini reading or something?
yeah, absolutely. I
I
would be
think,
honored. Yeah,
I
if
think
there's
people
time.
watching would think that's pretty cool, seeing,
Yeah.
and showing, and again, we're talking about we all need help, whether it's a regular therapist or you come to a hypnotherapist, it's just, we all need somebody
Mhm.
to talk to try to figure things out, because life is so darn difficult. And the more tools we have, the easier it is to
Yeah.
navigate.
And take advantage of all the healers all around. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So we are in the last 10 minutes of our show
Yeah.
ish, because we kind of try to keep it at an hour. So I just want to let people know that this is a kind of a quick version. So thank
Okay.
you, Jessica, for your trust. I really
Thank
appreciate this
you.
trust, because
Thank you
it
for your
means a
time.
lot to me. So who I see with you, and I know that you've probably been told this, but you have a new Asian guide. He seems to come more from uh, Japan, but kind of in that Mongolian,
Mhm.
it was that crossover. And so he's here to help you with learning the tools of the ancient ones,
Mhm.
because of the fact that it's time for you to wake up that lifetime. So if you're drawn to more the Asian lifestyle, please
Mhm.
don't hoard yourself with a lot of the tools. Pick and choose those little ones that you need.
Mhm.
Okay. To honor. Have you made your altar of that guide yet?
No, I haven't created my space entirely yet.
Okay, so I'm just offering to you that even if you get a votive that has maybe the Asian sign, and I'm saying Asian because he's kind of the one that kind of comes from that corner of
Mhm.
China, Mongolia, northern Japan, Korea, that area, and so he's one that actually has spent many different lifetimes in each of those, but he's
Mhm.
here to help you, support you, learning some of those ancient breath moments.
Mm, good.
If
Well,
that
I
makes
teach
sense.
mindfulness to at an elementary school as well, so that could be useful there too.
Yes, yes, yes. So with that he is even pleased that if you get a votive, light
Mhm.
that once in a while. If you get one that can be replaceable, so you just
Yeah.
keep that votive for him. You put in your little tea lights. That will support that. You also, have you been drawn into the Dragon Clan yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I don't know if I can do this here, but
Mhm.
your dragon is ready to welcome you in.
Okay. So I've
Welcome
been,
to.
is that, I don't know what that is. So I'm working with an acupuncturist who is also graduated through my class, and we talk a lot about the internal dragons. Is that different or is that,
Yes and no.
okay,
Yeah, there's
internal dragon?
he's not wanting to put this out on air. He just wanted to be recognized
Mm.
that he's ready to come to you to give you that internal strength and
Oh,
protection.
yeah. Okay,
Uh,
that makes sense.
so there's more to that story, but that's the quick version that I'm
Yeah,
allowed to give you right now.
that
So
resonates.
thank
Yeah.
also too that your fae clan
Mhm.
that you work with, they want you to start walking a little bit more on grass or on the earth to
Mm-hmm.
be more grounded with them. Remember though that as they're snickering, this is the third time mine have stole my glasses. Remember, Regan, how I've told you my glasses have disappeared?
Yeah.
Third time. They were on the counter next to my sunglasses. They weren't there when I woke up the next morning.
Yeah.
So with so yours are kind of mischievous. So
Mm-hmm. Well,
um,
cheeky.
yeah. So they are asking you to get an amethyst, a crystal, and something shiny.
Okay. Yeah,
They actually like those glitter rocks that are man-made.
oh my gosh. I saw some of those. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what they were called, but they were gorgeous. There was a heart and it was open. It was like glittering everywhere.
Mhm.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, so that's something that they would love.
Hmm.
And so with that right now they're not wanting a big space because they know that your space is limited, but they're asking you to just put something together and then have a representation. So even if you got a little statue for them
Hmm.
to represent the
Okay.
fun of them.
Cool.
It won't be probably of a fairy. It might be even like a little bubble blower, something
Oh yeah.
pink,
Something
a
fun.
little corny pink kid, a
Mhm.
unicorn, just something that represents them in their corny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean this with love,
Playfulness.
corniness.
Yeah.
Okay. You have much more, so don't worry about protection. You are a gatekeeper. Have you been introduced to your gatekeeper yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, your gatekeeper is there for you. He's an ancient one, so he's here for you. We can do more outside of this, but that's the quick version of some of the work. So
Yeah.
I
I'll
hope
give
that
you
that
a,
gives you enough tools to either open
Yeah.
the doors
Yeah.
or navigating that.
Yeah. And
So
it's perfect timing because I'm setting everything up right these couple weeks. So
yeah, they're
that's
yeah.
not
perfect.
asking for big ones.
Yeah.
You also work with the elements. So if you can make sure that your elements are involved. So something with fire, water, earth, and
Mhm.
air. Air
Okay.
is pretty easy. That's a clear crystal. That air is kind of one of those things, but making sure that you have those elements respected,
Okay.
honored.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
That will
you.
help you deal with what's going on around you.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
Set up the space. Thank you.
I'll
Thank
give a
you.
little plug for everybody that's listening too that Natasha is super duper, and her fees are very, very, very good right now too. So if you're getting this, and you can see she has angelicclarifications.com up on
Thank
her
you, Regan.
thing
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, she's helped me a number of times with some things that really good.
I'm the one that I really go into the backstory of why things are happening, where things are our story behind. So if we were to talk, Jessica, I would go more deeply into the stories of behind, kind of like I did with your I'm just going to call him, he doesn't want to be called Asian, but that honoring of, because I honor that region, type of thing.
Right,
So,
the whole region, yeah.
yeah. Because they're ancient ones. They're the key holder of much knowledge.
So I've had a Buddhist monk with me, and this is somebody different though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, he's actually more, he spent a lot of time in the Eastern Indian time. This guy he's newer to you, who's going to help you. He wants to teach you breath. You don't breathe deep enough, he says.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Buddhist monk was more to my patient. Telling me to be patient.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jessica, when you book your Life Between Life session, it'll be interesting too to see who pops up. See if you can have some face-to-face, one-on-one with your teachers, and you can ask them a lot of questions. So, like on that list you're making out for your session, put down a lot of questions you want with the work you're doing now. Because maybe we can get some answers there, because it appears to me that the universe is sending you people, and everything's happening synchronistically.
I know, this happened very quickly. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, they want you to get going. It says time to be a light worker.
Yes.
I wanted to say that I don't know how many people are watching, or with you both of you, I'm offering sessions right now in exchange for a review. So I don't have a website yet, but I can set you guys up with my email. And I do medical intuitive work. So
yeah, and Natasha, that's a good way to get started, isn't it? Just do sessions, because you'll find, just like with me, I did when I did the Life Between Life sessions, I did a lot of them free for about 6 months, and then I started charging a little, and your confidence just goes, and before you know it, you and Natasha will be like peers.
But Jessica, if we can, after this, I'd like to give you a little.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
But I want to catch, before time comes up, I want to catch these couple of comments here.
Okay.
So we were talking about a stone, and it wasn't gold stone. It's a stone that it's actually man-made, and it has little like purple green. Kathy probably knows which one. So Kathy said, keep in mind goldstones is an awesome man-made item. Original recipe from Sekmox in long ago.
Oh, nice.
I've been going through too many upgrades, and my mouth is not matching up with my mouth too well, except for when I'm doing sessions. Did you notice when I was doing sessions? I got out of the way and it was clear. So keeping in mind that goldstone. Oh, I just did that one. Sorry about that, guys. So here we go. So that's goldstone. Is it goldstone, Kathy? I didn't think it was, because it didn't have that goldstone feel to it that I've known goldstone to be. So, but we'll figure it out. I can take a picture of it and show you it. So yeah. So with that we're coming down to our last minutes here. So Regan, how can people get a hold of you? Thank you everyone for watching, by the way. I'm sorry for Regan. Thank you everyone.
The people that are faithful listeners every week. We always try to have something new. And today was really refreshing. It was really nice, and we hadn't really talked about stones before. And having someone new to the light worker field, we need thousands and thousands more light workers. And everybody needs to share, help each other to be a success, because that's what the world needs right now. You can get a hold of me at visittheafterlife.com. I'm on the board of directors at the Newton Institute in charge of public engagement. And what I do is help people. I help get you to a really deep state of trance, which almost everybody can reach. And in that state, they're able to easily go to past lives, see themselves pass away, meet their guide or teacher on the other side, who then takes them to where we all go in between lives. That's very interesting. And while you're there, you can ask a bunch of questions. Most of my clients spend an hour and a half, 2.5 hours on the other side, visiting loved ones that passed away, getting to know their guides, going before council, asking questions. There's about 6 stations over there we've identified so far, because we're just doing research. We're a religion neutral organization. It's, in other words, we have people from all different walks of life, all different religions do this. We've had about 65,000 people do it so far. And we're trying to get more, like I was talking to even Jessica later. Sometimes she might want to even add this to her practice sometime later in the future, because it's all tools. It just, what's good. So anyway, you can get a hold of me at visittheafterlife.com. There's a free book on there called Reincarnation is Real, about the latest research in incarnation right now. All you have to do is go to the contact page and I'll send you a free ebook. So that's how you get a hold of me.
Thank you, Regan. Jessica?
Oh, what am I saying? Sorry.
How do people get a hold of you?
Okay.
And a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just starting out, and I can do sessions in person in Marin and Novato, or via telephone or Zoom. And I can be reached at jessicapumpa@gmail.com. And they're usually an hour and a half long sessions where I work with within the physical, energetic, emotional, spiritual systems with reading, and sometimes working with different energies to do some healings and shifting. And I work with people to find clarity within relationships that they're having difficulties in, or I can do if there's something bothering somebody in this life that has residue from some past lives that need healing. I don't get too wrapped up in the exact stories of the past life, but I can go in and find messages or overall lessons that haven't been learned that need to be integrated. I have a really great time working with people with relationship contracts. So if there's somebody you're having a difficult time with, we can go in spirit to spirit and work on contracts and just the chakras, clearing aura layers, grounding. Yeah.
Wow. That's the thing is that, for me, if I would put a list of what I can do, it would be, it would go down my friend's stairs, out the house, around the corner. It just, it's hard to say what we all do. And that's the thing about gifts. We start out with something in it and it just expands. So good job with that, we're all doing what we can do. We're all going to be better than what we are yesterday. Not perfect, but better. And that's the mantra I always use. I'm perfectly imperfect, doing better than I did. It's one of those things that we're all working forward. So how you can reach me, obviously my website's on there, is angelicclarifications.com. I'm one that I do much everything. If you're a lot like what Jessica does, contracts, doing mediumship, it's one of those things. My specialty is grief and working through much of that. But yet here at my friend's house, she just bought a new house and I'm feng shuiing her house left and right. And she has much energy grids that are like really wacky, and we're settling them down. And so I really work with energy, period, whatever that is. If you're working through shame, if you're working through guilt, much of us carry that. It's the emotions, and that's been one of my specialties also. So blessings to everyone, and thank you for watching. I just want to say thank you, and thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Susan, for watching. And the others that are here that haven't said anything. I'm so grateful, because I'm hoping, and Regan is hoping, that we're all helping to get somewhere. And I will give you Kathy's email or text. Phone number, Regan, too.
Okay.
To get a hold of it.
Show here.
Yeah. So with that's the reason why Regan and I kept the show going, is because of the fact that we're all going through something, and our soul, that's why we named it the Dance of the Soul, because our soul dances from one lifetime to another, dances through this lifetime. I couldn't consider yesterday a past life, because it's yesterday's story, and we all are going through things that are amazing right now. And if you're needing some help, please reach out, because if it's not here, find someone. This is a journey we can't do alone. So blessings with you. And remember that Regan and I here on Mondays, and I do life clarifications on Wednesdays. Same time, same channel, 4 o'clock. Blessings with everyone.
Okay.
Bye
See you
now.
next week, everybody.
Bye.